GM, everybody. Let's talk about Worldcoin, the so-called Skynet currency, as someone aptly titled it on Twitter. And I shamelessly stole this description because, yeah, it's probably going to become quite a relevant cryptocurrency once it launches. And it just raised 100 mil today. And it's a crypto, well, like a project or currency or whatever, by Sam Altman, the guy who launched OpenAI and ChatGPT, which does all your work today. So I think we need to talk about this, and this time I prepared properly. So I'm giving you a heads up on what you can expect. So we'll talk about what Worldcoin actually is, how crypto Twitter or macro Twitter or just people reacted to it. Talk a little bit about, or I'll explain Sam Altman's vision of the future. So especially regarding universal basic income and how Worldcoin fits into that. Then I'll point out a couple of points of critique that I have about this project. And last but not least, if you want to skip right for like ahead to that, conclusions for investments, because I think this project is going to be quite bullish for one certain cryptocurrency. But let's start at the beginning. So Worldcoin raises a fat round of funding. As you can see here, existing and new investors. One of the existing investors is Sam Bankman-Fried, but he cannot cash in on his investment. They will contribute to the 100 mil that's Worldcoin will raise. So this came out in the Financial Times May 15th. That was, yes, that's today. Yeah, I don't know the date where I am at the moment. Doesn't really matter which day it is. I just know it's Monday. And that was the second round I think they raised. I think the first one was 25 mil. And they have a couple of big shot investors in the crypto space. So I'll have something to say about that a little bit later, because I think who invested in this is quite telling of the project. And someone here said, is this the break we needed for ENS adoption? So ENS is Ethereum name service. Well, we're going to see, but yeah, this is like a slight preview of what I'm bullish on. So yeah, I don't think this will be bullish for Bitcoin. So you can guess where this is going. Now, how does Worldcoin work? This is where it gets interesting. Actually, CoinMarketCap, they asked me for a coin description. I used to write those. Nowadays, not so much anymore. About Worldcoin, this was about, a year ago or so, a little bit longer. So I dived a little bit into this crypto, which isn't even out yet. Did a bit of research back when you were not able to write these coin descriptions with ChatGPT. And the interesting thing about Worldcoin is that, again, it's founded by Sam Altman. And it's been running for quite a while. So I think I wrote here, I'm not sure if I wrote it here or not. But anyway, it's been going on for quite a while. This is not a new project. It's kind of like OpenAI, which has also been going for a while. But actually, only now it's really gaining traction and attention because of the release of ChatGPT and GPT-4. Same for Worldcoin. And why is this project so controversial? Because, well, you have to give up so they scan your iris or iris, however you pronounce it in English, and they promise you free Worldcoin for that. And this happens with a device called the Orb. I think we'll have some visuals of that later. And it looks a little bit dystopic, and the entire idea of having this, well, getting free crypto for giving up essentially your unique biological identificator, or however it's called. So basically you being identifiable in the internet by scanning your iris, this strikes many people as quite dystopic. So here we dive into their reactions, because this is not a new project. This has been going on for a while. Everyone knew this is kind of I don't want to say it's a scam. It's not really a scam. It's a bit different, but yeah, this is not new, but now it's gaining attention. This is why I'm making this video, because the FT released that it raised 100 mil, and people, especially in the Bitcoin space and like in the, crypto Twitter space, they are not excited about this at all. Peter McCormack said, look at this shit, 100 million failure incoming. Then later he corrected to even worse if it's 100 million success, which I think it could be. Lynn Alden, who, as I said, I greatly respect, she said, yeah, this sounds good, like this makes sense, like a shower thought, but it should be quickly discarded. Someone else, I think this guy, Alex Gladstein, also very knowledgeable guy in the Bitcoin space, he said, so if you believe Altman and the creators, if you believe that they want to empower people, then this is one of the worst misallocations of capital ever and will look very stupid in 20 years, and they should have just poured this money into Bitcoin. So lo and behold, this has been broadly the reaction of everyone on crypto Twitter, Bitcoin Twitter. Of course, you can find then accounts who will shill this. I mean, that's how it always goes. But the people who are respected analysts, and I don't want to say influencers, but key opinion leaders, they don't like this at all. And we will discuss why that is the case. But first, we should talk about how this actually fits into Sam Altman's greater vision. So Sam Altman, he deserves a video in and of itself because he's about to become one of the most influential persons in the world, if he isn't already one of the most influential persons in the world. I mean, Joe Biden recently invited him and all the other big tech, big shots CEOs to like a round table where he said hi and then he left the room. Again, yet another topic. But his idea, so Sam Altman's idea is that we are facing a big, well, you want to call it like industrial revolution, new industrial revolution. Basically, there's going to be big changes to the workplace, to how the world works in general, which are all, in his opinion, connected to AI. And the bottom line here is that technology will bring about a lot of deflation. So if you don't know what deflation is, it means the cost of everything will go down. Basically, if AI helps produce things quicker and cheaper, it means the cost of labor goes down. Because if AI can do it faster and easier than you, and especially cheaper, then your work isn't needed anymore. And that's why Sam Altman tweeted about a year ago, so this was on 5th of May 2022, that we should have a $25 minimum wage, and there's going to be job automations, and long term, we will probably need something like UBI. And then he repeated that on the Lex Fridman podcast, where he was on about, a month ago or so. And it's worth quickly, it's just a real short clip, but it's worth quickly listening to what his take is on universal basic income.
You have been a proponent of UBI, universal basic income. In the context of AI, can you describe your philosophy there of our human future with UBI? Why you like it? What are some limitations?
I think it is a component of something we should pursue. It is not a full solution. I think people work for lots of reasons besides money. And I think we are going to find incredible new jobs, and society as a whole and people's individuals are going to get much, much richer. But as a cushion through a dramatic transition, and as just like, I think the world should eliminate poverty if able to do so. I think it's a great thing to do as a small part of the bucket of solutions. I helped start a project called Worldcoin, which is a technological solution to this. We also have funded a large, I think maybe the largest and most comprehensive universal basic income study as part of, sponsored by OpenAI. And I think it's like an area we should just be looking into.
Yeah, this was actually on 2x because I listened to everything on YouTube on 2x, including my own videos. So yeah, but this was Sam Altman, and he actually mentioned Worldcoin in this clip. And again, this was like 2 months ago, and now they raised a lot of money. So this was always on his radar. Now a quick dive into like his bigger vision of the future. So he published a blog post about 2 years ago called Moore's Law for Everything. So if you don't know Moore's Law, very briefly, this is the idea or notion that the cost of computation halves every 2 years. So it's not like a law of nature or something, but it has been empirically proven to be true. And he thinks that something similar will happen to the cost of labor. So this is like the very short take. And his proposal is, in this blog post, he talks about the AI revolution and then about Moore's Law. and well, capitalism for everyone. So in this part, he actually then goes into his proposal for the solution, which would be eliminating taxes and instead taxing land. And I think he also says that we need to set up this so-called American Equity Fund. So companies should be taxed about a certain valuation on their market value each year, because his idea is that, okay, AI is going to make labor a lot cheaper, so companies will grow very quickly, but not necessarily as the result of human labor. So we should tax these companies and then redistribute these taxes among citizens who will have a lot less work. And his vehicle for this is Worldcoin. Now here we dive really into Worldcoin and what it is. I wrote an article for, again, CoinMarketCap a couple months ago on a concept called soul-bound tokens. So this is basically, not exactly, but kind of what Worldcoins is. So again, keeping this fairly short, not to make this video too long because it's already going to be long, soul-bound tokens are a solution to the problem that everyone can have more than one wallet on, well, in crypto, and more than one identity on the internet. So imagine that imagine if you were able to actually connect your offline identity to your online identity. And soul-bound tokens would be a solution to that. So in this article, I explained that this is actually like an NFT, which is connected to you as a human. However, your identity isn't necessarily like saved or anything. It would be a decentralized solution, but it would be basically like a digital AI. ID, not digital AI, a digital ID. And the benefit of that would obviously be that you then would be able to, I think I wrote this here somewhere, you would be able to vote online, because it would be a unique identifier of you. You would be able to connect like your offline records, like employment records, certifications, medical history, all of that to your online identity, which obviously would make things much more efficient, and which would be nice. Now, what are the possible downsides of that, or the drawbacks? Well, you can imagine that if this thing isn't decentralized, then one entity will hold all the data in one place, and you know where this is going, like dystopia. Worldcoin doesn't work with NFTs, but it's similar. And here is where we dive into my critique about Worldcoin. So this is this orb, this is this thing which scans your iris, and someone wrote here, this person saw these Worldcoin eye scanning pushers in Cordoba in Argentina. And he told the morons running it that what they're doing is terrible, and yeah, he wanted to smash the entire thing. And actually, I think there's somewhere someone actually like posted a short video of that here. Yeah, so it's like someone on the ground, and then they're like scanning your iris, and yeah, then your data ends up somewhere, and where it ends up exactly, we're going to get to that in a minute. My first issue with this is that Worldcoin, they are very smart. So Sam Altman is very smart about this, because he's leveraging developing countries for influence. Now, if you promise someone free crypto in a developed country, in a rich country like the US or Western European countries, these countries and the people living there, they will have issues with like privacy, data security. What are you going to do with my data? Is this everything safe? How much am I getting? Like, what are the advantages and disadvantages of this thing? And they will be quite rightfully skeptical about this. However, people who don't have as much money, the power of free is very strong. And obviously, this is a much better pull in developing countries, and Argentina is a country which has been for a long time in deep economic trouble, especially now, because now they have a massive inflation rate of, I think, like 100% or something. So his company is essentially acquiring customers at a zero cost for this Worldcoin project. And another issue that I take with this is, who is investing in this? So if you look at it, the first round, they raised it with Sam Bankman-Fried, A16Z, Coinbase, and a bunch of others, and it was 25 mil, and the valuation was 1 billion. Now it's a 100 million route for a 3 billion valuation. And my issue here is exactly, or especially with AZEC16Z. So this is a VC, which is very present, especially in the crypto space, but also outside of crypto. And in my opinion, they're one of the biggest, how do I put this, not too frankly, BS artists in this space. So a couple of people have pointed this out on crypto Twitter. Molly White, she's quite skeptic, like a crypto skeptic. And recently, when A16Z, every year they release like a state of crypto research report or whatever, and she dove deep into this state of crypto report. And it was 60 pages long, and she wrote a whole debunking thread on how much bullshit there is in this report and how much A16Z, they're basically playing up their own book with all the bullshit projects they invest in, and they're bringing forward complete strawman arguments, and it's just a lot of like throwing sand in people's eyes. And I'm not saying everything they invest in is crap. However, they have shilled some really, really bad projects, which were obvious scams, or at least they blew up their use case where there was not even a real use case. And Worldcoin is not exactly like that. However, by association, if a fund like this invests in your project, then this doesn't really shine a good light on your project. So it makes me skeptical. Now, another point is here, the applications of Worldcoin. So if we go here on their website, I actually, like I said, I did some research on this. This is not a video that I produced in 10 minutes. So it says there's the Worldcoin, the cryptocurrency, which is going to come out. There's then the World ID, which is the privacy first protocol that brings global proof of personhood. So essentially this digital ID that I mentioned. And there's going to be a world app, I think they call it. And they obviously say that it's a privacy first, decentralized identity protocol, yada, yada. We know this. I mean, no one would say like this is a completely centralized thing. And then they explain here it's a world ID and the proof of personhood and all this stuff. However, if you then really read through their privacy stuff, if you then dive a little bit deeper, and look at where this data is going and what kind of data they're collecting, it's actually quite a bit. So it's your first name, last name, your email address, phone number, all of this stuff, which makes you obviously identifiable. I mean, it has to. If you're supposed to be identifiable on the net, there needs to be all this information. It makes sense. And when you then look at where it's going or whom it can be shared with, now they say, oh, we will never sell your data. Again, they say that now. I'm not implying that they would, but again, this you have to take their word for it. However, they collect all this data, and actually, when you look at where they share it, it's under point 6, how we use this data, and then it says, oh, it's used for the World ID, it's used for the airdrop, which obviously everyone is interested in who does this, to improve the products, to conduct data science research, to comply with the law, and somewhere in here. Can't find it now, but somewhere in there it was also that they share it with potential commercial partners and obviously with law enforcement. So essentially you give your data to this company and then they have it. They say, okay, we're never going to sell this. Even if they don't ever sell it, it still has all your data. And even if the protocol is decentralized because they launched it on Optimism, well, that's all fair and well, but it's still going to be collected in one centralized location or with one centralized entity. So it's not exactly decentralized. And this is why the Bitcoiners are not really happy about this. And I can understand them because it sounds quite dystopic, really. So there is merit to this idea. Yes, there needs to be some sort of proof of humanity, as they call it, because with AI, there's going to be just a lot more bots, a lot more spam. I mean, we can already see it. The internet will just never really be completely anonymous in the way it was in the beginning. However, whether giving this much potential power to one company who is doing this in a very smart way, who is acquiring first customers in poorer countries, and then we'll obviously have like bargaining power and leverage with all these customers. Not really sure this is the right way to go. Now, this part you have probably been waiting for, because now we talk about money. So what is this good for, and where should you invest your money? I think this is bullish for Ethereum long term. So if we look at here, this person, pointed out ETH dominance. So I think this is a market cap of ETH and how it's going. You can see that it's it's accumulating. And Andrew Kang, he's a big, I think he's a VC, or at least like a big whale. He pointed out that ETH has major flows imbalance and that there's no real supply side selling remaining, because ETH now is deflationary, and especially recently we saw this with the meme coin craze. Like, everyone has been going on Ethereum and has been using Ethereum. So I think the last couple of weeks or something, ETH was really deflationary. And I think long term, not only is it a good narrative, but also it's fundamentally good for Ethereum. And you see also here that like apparently the queue to stake Ethereum is quite long. I haven't dove into this, but if it's really like an 8-week queue just to stake Ethereum, that's quite interesting. And yeah, I agree, that's quite bullish. So especially like short term, Andrew Kang says could be flipping 2K. I said a couple days ago that I'm bearish. I remain a little bit bearish, not too bearish, but I think we're still going to go down to mid-20s at least. But long term, if you look at Ethereum, and especially in comparison to Bitcoin, I mean, it's been in this accumulation / consolidation range for about a year now. And before that, it was in a massive accumulation / what's going on with me / distribution range for about 3 years. And before that, it was really like the first time Ethereum pumped. So maybe it's not that much. This is quite a bit of noise. And this year then is more signal, where Ethereum was building something, DeFi, and then it made a leg up. Now it's building a bit more. And then if we really get like a lot of AI applications, if we get like this proof of humanity, doesn't matter whether it's Worldcoin, whether it's something else, I think this will be quite bullish for Ethereum, even though these solutions will be implemented on layer 2 protocols. So Worldcoin, they're building it on Optimism, and Arbitrum will have a lot of the shitcoins. But still, I think overall Ethereum is just going to do well. When exactly this range finishes, I don't know. I mean, no one really knows. Everyone tips around somewhere here, like 24, 25. So it could be quite a while of distribution / or rather consolidation. But I think long-term Ethereum is looking good. And yeah, last point. Worldcoin, I think, also will do well. They secured a 20% insider share. This was like another point of critique on crypto Twitter. Well, it is what it is. I mean, that's just how the game goes. I think once it comes out, depending on the tokenomics and everything, I think it's a good scam. It's not that I support this thing, but I think it's quite smart, and I think it can do well. And obviously, it has very nice network effects with OpenAI, ChatGPT, and they're probably building a bunch of other stuff. So, yeah, there's one thing whether you like it, but money doesn't have friends or foes. Money just flows. So that's it. If you like this, subscribe, sign up to the newsletter, and I'll see you in the next one.